What's up, everyone? Welcome back to our reading through the book of Ecclesiastes. Today we're in chapter 10. In chapter 10 and 11 are going to read more poetical, more like parables. So let's jump in and see what God has for us in the book of Ecclesiastes. Dead flies make a perfumer's oil ferment and stink. So a little folly outweighs wisdom and honor. A wise person's heart goes to the right, but a fool's heart to the left. Even when the fool walks along the road, his heart lacks sense, and he shows everyone he is a fool. And so first off, right here in the beginning of this chapter, when he says the dead fly makes a perfumer's oil ferment and stink, remember that back in chapter 7, in 7:1, it says a good name is better than fine perfume, and the day of one's death is better than the day of one's birth. Right? And so already Solomon has compared our name to perfume. Right? So here he's saying, just as life is precious, right, your name is precious. And so we see that something as small and insignificant as a fly can ruin something precious as perfume, right? And so, man, something very small in our life can ruin our name. But it's not that we're earning a good name, that we're earning righteousness or relationship with God. Yes, something little can ruin it, but it's not so much the incident as it is how we deal with it. Right, so a fly comes into the perfume. If you ignore the fly, you try to add more perfume or something to, cover it up, and you're not dealing with the problem, then the perfume's going to be ruined. But if you just admit that there's a problem and address the problem, you can take the fly out, and it won't ruin the perfume. Right. So same thing with us. I mean, if we stumble and we sin and we try to cover it up and hide it, or we just pretend that it's not there and we don't deal with it, then that will ruin our name. That will ruin our legacy, because then you're dealing with hypocrisy there. You just need to deal with the problem. So the solution here for our name is that we admit when there's a problem, we're transparent about it, and we actually deal with it, right? And so how do we do that? Like, that's the beauty of earlier him talking too about the profit of two people instead of being one person by yourself. Two people can do a work better. Two people can keep each other warm. So even in terms of our name, by being in Christian community, other people can call us out on stuff. Other people can hold us accountable for stuff and encourage us and help us. We're not just dealing with this on our own. We have other people to help splat out our blind spots and such and help us. Right? So we just need to be transparent and deal with it. And then we even see that here, a wise person's heart goes to the right, whereas a fool goes to the left. Our natural inclination based off of our perspective, whether it be wisdom or folly, right? If we don't have the wisdom of a relationship with God, we're inclined towards foolishness, towards sin. Whereas if we have a relationship with God and we have the Holy Spirit in our life guiding us, we're inclined towards good. And so even when a fool is walking, so even when a fool is just living out their life in foolishness, their works reveal their heart, right? And so it's the same thing with wisdom, with the relationship with God, with the true relationship with God. Our works reveal our identity. They reveal, us belonging to God because He's working through us. So let's continue here. In verse 4 it says, if ruler's anger rises against you, don't leave your post, for calmness puts great offenses to rest. There is an evil I've seen under the sun, an error proceeding from the presence of the ruler. The fool is appointed to great heights, but the rich remain in lowly positions. I have seen slaves on horses, but princes walking on the ground like slaves. And so this section we see there's this foolish ruler, right? And we see that this corrupt world, it works backwards. Right? And so part of the corruptness of this world is that the fool is appointed to great heights, but the rich remain in lowly positions. Right? And so, man, we can even see this looking in our current culture with, look at like doctors and teachers, people with great intellect and wisdom, specifically, um, people with a relationship with God, great Christian people that have the wisdom of God abiding in their life, often kind of ignored, whereas in our culture, we celebrate actors, comedians, athletes, right? Not because of any wisdom or anything, just because of their entertainment value, what they can offer us, right? And they make a lot more money, they are celebrated, idolized, and so this is a corruptness of the world that's just foolish, right? And so then we go down and we're going to look at the foolish worker. The one who digs a pit may fall into it, and the one who breaks through a wall may be bitten by a snake. The one who quarries stones may be hurt by them. The one who splits logs may be endangered by them. If the axe is dull, and one does not sharpen its edge, then one must exert more strength. However, the advantage of wisdom is that it brings success. If the snake bites before it is charmed, then there is no advantage for the charmer. So here we see that work without wisdom equals more work, right? And so you're just working harder. You've heard the proverb, work smart, not hard, right? And so if you're not using wisdom, you're just making more work for yourself, or you're just going to end up hurting yourself or hurting others. Also, we see that if work defines you, it will destroy you. You're just living to work. You don't have that wisdom and stuff. Ultimately, you're going to be destroyed by that. So the call here is just to be wise, right? The advantage of wisdom is that it brings success. So be wise in your work. Then we see the foolish talker, right? The words from the mouth of a wise person are gracious, but the lips of a fool consume him. So the fool has destructive words. The beginning of the words from his mouth is folly, but the end of his speaking is evil madness. So we have unreasonable words here, right? Yet the fool multiplies words. No one knows what will happen, and who can tell anyone what will happen after him? So there we even have uncontrolled words, right? In 14, the beginning there, yet the fool multiplies words, right? And then we see the struggle of fools weary them, for they don't know how to go to the city. And there we have boastful words, right? They're boasting in something, but they don't know. And then in 16, we continue with his foolish officers, or even king, right? Woe to you, land, when your king is a youth, and your princes feast in the morning. Blessed are you, land, when your king is a son of nobles, and your princes feast at the proper time, for strength, and not for drunkenness. Because of laziness, the roof caves in, and because of negligent hands, the house leaks. A feast is prepared for laughter, and wine makes life happy, and money is the answer for everything. Do not curse the king even in your thoughts, and do not curse a rich person even in your bedroom, for a bird of the sky may carry the message, and a winged creature may report the matter. All right, so here we're looking at these foolish officers, and in 16 you see that these foolish officers, this foolish king is not feasting at the proper time. They're feasting for no reason, just for the fact of pleasure, right? Instead of feasting for strength, right? The proper time, they're feasting for strength, not for drunkenness. And so, man, we need to, it's good to celebrate. We see that throughout Ecclesiastes, to enjoy today, to enjoy the gifts for today, but you're feasting at the proper time for the proper reasons, right? And that is part of wisdom, and it guides us in what to enjoy and what to find pleasure in, and why, and where does that thing come from? Where does blessing come from? So it's a feasting out of thankfulness instead of just trying to distract yourself. And then down here in 19, where it starts to talk about a feast is prepared for laughter, and wine makes life happy, and money is the answer for everything. This reminded me of the prodigal son, right? So this is part of this foolish officers. The prodigal son asked for his inheritance from his father. He asked for that which he would inherit from his father after his father dies. And he's like, man, I would rather have that which I can get from you than have you. I wish that you were already dead so that I could just profit. Right? I don't really care about this relationship. And his father, out of love, gives him his inheritance, right? Instead of just casting him off as a foolish son. He takes the inheritance, leaves his father, which he didn't care for, and then goes and just foolishly spends his money on feasting and having fun and pleasure, and it comes to his own ruin, right? And so he thinks that the money is the answer for everything. He thinks that money is going to bring him joy, and he feasts for laughter, and he's seeking wine, right? He's going in all in, and it ends up being his own destruction. It's foolish, right? Whereas in 20 we see the answer here that do not curse the king even in your thoughts. So be wise again, right? The answer is to be wise. Nothing is hidden. Don't curse the king out loud in front of people, not even in your thoughts, not even in your heart. So he's saying even in your heart, do not curse. Even in your heart, focus on the positive instead of focusing on problems, right? And even in your thoughts, be careful and be wise, right? Because it's not just our actions that reveal who we are. It's even our perspective and our thoughts about things. Jesus even explained in Matthew 5-7 that it's not just about our actions of obedience to the law, but our heart, right? Our heart obedience to the law. So if we want to be wise instead of foolish, it's ultimately about our heart, about who we belong to, right? Our name does not have to be destroyed because of the flies in our life. But we need to be transparent, and we need to be open about our brokenness, deal with it, and keep our perspective on God. So thanks for joining me today as we looked at chapter 10. I look forward to jumping into chapter 11 and 12, finishing up Ecclesiastes with you. I'd love it if you comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, that'd be great. I'll see you again tomorrow for chapter 11.